Good evening. I'm Fran Miller, a longstanding board member of Adolescent Consultation Services, Inc. Welcome to our 14th fall event and the third one that's virtual and seemed to have had a little technical glitch at the beginning, but I hope it's been resolved. Thank you for coming. And for those of you who are interested in closed captioning, there's a link, there's a click, something you can click at the bottom of the screen and turn it to closed captions. And there's a Spanish translation link. If you go through to the chat link and look for it, you can find a Spanish translation. Now, Heal, Grow, and Thrive is the name of our annual fall event, and it celebrates ACS's service to kids involved with the juvenile court system. I'm sure you all know that, but I'm not sure you know all the things we do. I hope you'll get a good idea about that as we go through the evening. Our keynote speaker is the Cambridge Police Commissioner, Christine Elo. And I'm certainly interested in hearing what her observations are about kids she sees who are in trouble and what we can do about it. We're also here to honor Clerk Magistrate Elizabeth Sheehy of the Middlesex County Juvenile Court System. She's legendary for her dedication to kids and for her incredible support for ACS in helping those kids. She is getting our Rebecca Priest Indispensable Friend Award for a very good reason, and you'll hear more about that shortly. I just wanted to say a word about my 3-decade involvement with ACS. Life is tough for kids, and you know that. It's certainly tougher for them now. Dealing with COVID and all the mental health issues that have arisen as a result of that. And I have watched the evolution of ACS for helping kids from the time when it was a gleam in Rebecca Priest's eye to today's vibrant and vital social service agency, helping hundreds of kids. ACS is there providing services to them. It walks the walk, and I'm proud to be involved with them. Now, it's my pleasure and privilege to introduce ACS's Executive Director, Dr. Leah Kelly. Leah.
Thank you, Fran.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leah Kelly, the Executive Director of Adolescent Consultation Services. Welcome to Heal, Grow, and Thrive. From wherever you're joining us, we truly thank you for taking the time tonight to learn more about how we can support our youth and celebrate dedicated service to kids in need of help and hope. Despite the challenges we have all faced over the past couple of years, the commitment to serving vulnerable children and families in our community is stronger than ever. And you taking time out of your busy schedules to join us this evening is proof of that. I'd like to thank our board of directors, the presenting sponsor of tonight's event, for hosting and sponsoring this evening and for their loyal support of the work we do. And a thank you to our generous champion sponsor, East Cambridge Savings Bank. So 2022 actually marks the 40th year of our partnership with ECSB. We are also incredibly grateful to the Massachusetts Department of Mental Health, the trial court, and our many longstanding private, corporate, and individual donors, all of whom make our work possible. So we have a goal of raising $50,000 at Heal, Grow, and Thrive. It's an ambitious goal, but we must be ambitious to meet the needs of the kids we serve. So thank you so much to everyone who's already donated. For those of you who would like to donate, please visit acskids.org/donate to make a donation at any time during tonight's event. I also want to acknowledge and thank our extraordinarily talented and dedicated staff who do such important and challenging work every day. And finally, a very special thank you goes to Robin Eastwood, our Director of Development. Robin continues to amaze us with her creative talents and multimedia magic. Many of you who registered took advantage of our offer to have a tasty treat delivered to your home. It looks something like this. So I hope you're enjoying these delicious and beautiful chocolate truffles from Chocolate Therapy, which is a local woman and Black-owned business, which is perhaps slightly too conveniently located near our Framingham Juvenile Court. They see a lot of us. So please know that tonight ACS staff are helping behind the scenes. So if you have a comment or question, please put it in the chat field and we will respond as quickly as we can. So each year, I'd like to share a few updates, both from within ACS, but also the broader community. As many of you know, over the course of the pandemic, children's mental health was declared a national public health crisis. This fact certainly continues to bear out locally. The community needs assessments for Cambridge, Framingham, and Lowell each identified mental health care as one of the top 3 needs in their cities. At ACS, we continue to witness these needs firsthand. And we have responded by taking steps to expand our reach and to provide even more kids and families with access to our services. We have increased our staffing, deepened our community partnerships, and we've begun to provide in-person mental health services in local high schools during the school day, overcoming the transportation barrier for these youth and meeting them in the environment in which they are struggling most. And as we continue to assess and address the urgent mental health needs we are seeing, we are also taking steps to address some of the more basic needs we are observing in our young clients, who sometimes arrive hungry and who lack access to clean clothing and personal hygiene products. We know that when a child is hungry or anxious about where their next meal will come from, they cannot be expected to focus on higher level issues. So countywide, we are working to identify these needs and have made available basic supplies for kids and families to take with them. We've also partnered with the Family Resource Center, who are strongly equipped to help support families struggling with ongoing food insecurity and other basic needs. As you may recall from our invitation for tonight's event, the artwork provided by our talented graphic designer, Cheryl McGurty, depicted a very pretty butterfly. So let me tell you why. When someone mentions a butterfly, often the first image that enters our mind is that of a monarch butterfly. Their bright orange and black wings fluttering from one flower to the next. Well, some of you may know that over this past summer, the monarch butterfly was officially declared endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. This classification came as a shock to many. How could the most recognizable butterfly become endangered across the world? Apparently, since the 1990s, we've seen a 95% decline in monarch butterflies who migrate to the West Coast to overwinter. And there has also been a 70 to 80% decline on the East Coast as well. So in response to this news, there was a massive worldwide campaign to save these creatures. Monarch butterflies are international pollinators, and they actually play a vital role in our ecosystem. Suddenly, much needed attention was being paid to their plight, and so many of us felt called to help support their habitat. I know I let the milkweed in my garden go wild, despite it being an eyesore. Various websites provided tutorials on how to raise and release monarchs. Others offered to send you free milkweed seeds to help the butterflies survive. And it is this type of collective action that is needed to restore their population. The plight of the monarchs and the worldwide call to action is inspiring, and I think not unlike the renewed national awareness of the mental health crisis for kids. As we know, often it takes a crisis to bring awareness and the resources needed to ameliorate a problem. And I know that all of you joining us this evening are committed to helping us do just that. So in preparation for this evening and in speaking with all of you, I was reflecting on the tremendous adversity facing the kids that we serve and really wanting to capture the complex and critical work our clinicians do. So the imagery of the butterfly was really guiding me, and I came across a quote from a wise educator, Stephanie Pace Marshall. And she said, "Adding wings to caterpillars does not create butterflies. It creates awkward and dysfunctional caterpillars. Butterflies are created through transformation." I love this quote because it grounds us in the knowledge that growth and transformation are a process, not a destination. And this is, in fact, where our clinicians begin their work. Our clinicians typically see our young clients when they are not at their best. Children do not become involved in the juvenile justice system because things are going well. But from the moment our staff engage with kids, they see opportunities, not just obstacles. They project hope, roll up their sleeves, and work with families to create a realistic roadmap for meaningful change. And through hard work, just as butterflies take flight after emerging from their cocoons, kids can recover and soar. As Maya Angelou once said, "We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty." At ACS, we recognize the beauty in change, and we have a deep affection for caterpillars. We are so excited for our program tonight. So later this evening, we look forward to honoring Clerk Magistrate of Middlesex County Juvenile Court, Elizabeth Sheehy, who has dedicated her career to helping children and families involved in the juvenile justice system. And we are thrilled to have Cambridge Police Commissioner Christine Elo join us as our keynote speaker. It is now my pleasure and honor to introduce you to the very talented Jason Gee, who's with us tonight. Jason graduated from Berklee College of Music last year. He has more than 300 performances under his belt, including on China's Got Talent, where he received yeses from all 4 judges. In addition to performing, Jason teaches at the Village Music School and Village Youth Conservatory. He also performs twice weekly at the psychiatric department at Brigham and Women's Faulkner Hospital. We are very grateful to have him here with us tonight. So thank you so much, Jason. I turn it over.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. A wonderful introduction, and it's great to play for such a great cause. Let's do a little entertainment. So I'd like to start off with a little Frank Sinatra. So that was a little Frank Sinatra and Stevie Wonder. Isn't She Lovely? Let me continue on. All right. Here's an oldie but a goodie. Thank you. Oh, wow. So, thank you so much for the comments. Yeah, I am reading them. It's a little hard to respond at the same time, but thank y'all so much for the support. Got a couple more for y'all. This is one of my favorite Bee Gees songs. All right. I got one more for ya. Yeah, pretty much. Calculated that time pretty well. I'm gonna play now my second favorite BG song. Here we go. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for indulging. And wow, such lovely comments. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
That was
Cheers.
amazing. Thank you, Jason. We'll send you a transcript of all those comments. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
So, moving on, the Rebecca Priest Indispensable Friend Award was established in honor and recognition of Rebecca's legacy of leadership, vision, and dedicated service to vulnerable children and families. This award is presented each year to an individual who shares these distinct characteristics and embodies the mission of ACS. It is a great honor and pleasure that this year we present this award to Elizabeth Sheehy. Elizabeth Sheehy currently serves as Clerk Magistrate of the Middlesex County Juvenile Court, where she is responsible for magisterial and administrative supervision of the Cambridge, Framingham, Lowell, and Waltham sites. During her 21 years with the Middlesex County Juvenile Court, Attorney Sheehy founded the Middlesex County Juvenile Court Clerk's Office Internship Program and has served on countless committees dedicated to improving support for children and families who are court involved. Months ago, as I began to think about who in our midst stood out to me as having done something truly remarkable, Elizabeth Sheehy immediately came to mind. Over the past 2 years of the pandemic, many court personnel had the luxury of some flexibility in navigating the height of COVID-19 through remote work options and reduced in-person staffing patterns. However, it was the clerk's department for whom business never slowed down and in fact became far more challenging. Cases were still being filed, children and families were in crisis, and the doors to the clerk's office remained open to ensure that they still had access to the juvenile court services they needed, despite the real world obstacles imposed by a pandemic. So in talking with some of Elizabeth's staff, she's been described as a thoughtful, creative, and adaptable leader during a time when things were so uncertain and constantly changing. And so many community resources became far more difficult to access. Elizabeth worked closely with her staff to problem solve. As one staff member put it, she always had a backup plan. Through extraordinarily challenging times, Elizabeth has been described as an outstanding clerk magistrate, teacher, and leader. And I will say, having attended numerous countywide meetings with Elizabeth over the past couple of years, I have personally observed firsthand the grace, professionalism, and necessary sense of humor she brings to her work, even during such chaotic times. And it is for all of these reasons that Elizabeth Sheehy is the deserving recipient of the Rebecca Priest Indispensable Friend Award. So, Elizabeth, it is my pleasure to present you with the Rebecca Priest Indispensable Friend Award. This award is presented to Elizabeth Sheehy for your extraordinary leadership, dedicated service, and enduring commitment to helping thousands of vulnerable children and families in the Commonwealth. I look forward to the opportunity to hand deliver this award to you.
Wow.
Don't say anything yet, Elizabeth, because we have a surprise for you. In addition to receiving the Rebecca Priest Indispensable Friend Award, we are excited to present Elizabeth Sheehy with this certificate of special congressional recognition from Congresswoman Lori Trahan. This certificate reads, upon receiving the Rebecca Priest Indispensable Friend Award from Adolescent Consultation Services for emulating the values of leadership, vision, and dedicated service to vulnerable children and families. Your work as clerk magistrate of the Middlesex County Juvenile Court, your volunteer work, and your support towards families throughout the COVID-19 pandemic serve as a model for all. Your dedicated service will leave a lasting impact on Middlesex County and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Elizabeth, now you may share a few words.
It's not often that I'm speechless, but wow, I am really touched. It's always an honor and special to be recognized by colleagues and peers. And even more special, I think, when you receive an honor that is named after someone that you had the pleasure and honor to work with and that you respect so much. And that's what Rebecca Priest means to me. I was honored to have met her and begin working with her 22 years ago. In the Middlesex Juvenile Court. And I think at that time, she was the executive director of ACS. And Rebecca probably does not know this, but I was exposed to Rebecca even earlier than that. And it was probably more like 24 years ago when someone gave me a copy of this book, Children in the Law. And as you all know, Rebecca was co-author of that book, but her impact on juvenile justice, mental health issues, it goes so far. Her reach and impact is so massive, and that's involvement with One Can Help, Citizens for Juvenile Justice, beyond what she has done with ACS. And other organizations. So it's an honor to be recognized with an award that bears her name. So thank you very much. And I just wanted to add, and Leah knows this, when Leah approached me about the award, I was reluctant. And really what I said to Leah was, I don't feel comfortable receiving the award, but I feel comfortable accepting it on behalf of my office. They're really the unsung heroes. They make me look good. And I definitely had them fooled with the whole plan B. I didn't have a backup plan. I always pretended to. But in all seriousness, it's such an honor, and the work that the clinicians do day in and day out is so important. And it means so much, not only to the children that come before Middlesex County Juvenile Court, but their families, and also to all of us that work at the court. And we can't thank you enough. So we appreciate you very much. And I am honored to accept the award on behalf of the clerk's office at Middlesex County Juvenile Court.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and congratulations. Good evening. I am Chanda Oakwolf, and I serve on the ACS Board of Directors. I'm thrilled to be here with everyone tonight and to introduce our next speaker. We are honored to have Commissioner Christine Elo as our keynote speaker this year. In January 2022, Commissioner Elo became the first woman ever to lead the Cambridge Police Department since its founding in 1859. She was raised and educated in Cambridge and has served with the police department for more than 20 years. She is deeply dedicated to keeping Cambridge a safe and healthy community for its residents and visitors. Commissioner Elo is committed to developing innovative approaches to address the needs of the city's most vulnerable population, including youth and families, the homeless population, and those suffering from chronic mental illness. She leads with compassion and empathy and is an exemplary role model for our community. Commissioner Elo will be able to answer a few questions after her remarks. If you have a question for her, please submit it in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. It is now my pleasure and my privilege to introduce Police Commissioner Christine Elo.
Thank you, Chanda, for that wonderful introduction, and what a great panel. Jason, you rock. I was dancing with my camera off, and also congratulations to you, Elizabeth. It's really an honor to be the keynote speaker at Adolescent Consultation Services Heal, Grow, and Thrive event. As a parent of 2 adolescent boys, I understand firsthand how important it is to have quality mental health services available to families in need. One of my personal passions as the commissioner is to strengthen relationships between the police, the communities we serve, and providers who are instrumental in getting our community members, including at-risk children, the services that they need. In the city of Cambridge, there's been a monumental shift in how the police do business. Traditionally, arrest has been our main tool to deal with crime and quality of life issues, and that includes how we dealt with children. We have learned that we cannot arrest our way out of complex societal issues such as gang violence, drug use, being unhoused, and mental illness. Through our Safety Net Collaborative, which is a partnership between the police, the public schools, the Cambridge Health Alliance, the Department of Human Service Programs, the District Attorney's Office, the Department of Children and Families, and the courts, we have collaborated to reduce juvenile arrests and recidivism in the city, and to connect vulnerable youth and their families to services and supports. This shift has presented challenges and opportunities for our police department. One challenge is building trust and relationships with marginalized communities in our city. This challenge also is an opportunity for police to collaborate with organizations like ACS to help children and families, particularly from marginalized communities, heal, grow, and thrive. Some of the trends that we're seeing with our youth is that the youth involved in gun violence are getting younger. We are seeing children as young as 15 involved in gun violence. It makes me ask the question, what kind of trauma has a 15-year-old child experienced that they feel the need to carry a large capacity weapon for protection? Also, our youth are using social media to threaten other youth through rap videos. Our focused deterrence program is geared towards youth who are at risk for involvement in gun violence. The police work with families and other providers, including public health, on prevention and early intervention. One story that I want to share is that there was a young person who made a rap video threatening to shoot a teen from a neighboring town in the video. We brought the family in, went through the lyrics of the rap video with mom and dad, and highlighted the violence that was in the lyrics. Both parents were aghast. They thought their child was innocently involved in making music and had no clue that there was a death threat being made against another child. This is one example of the work we are doing to interrupt violence. Over a decade, the Cambridge Police Department has been committed to interrupting the school to prison pipeline through early identification of children who are at risk for involvement in the criminal justice system by deflecting and diverting them away from the criminal justice system, by working collaboratively with service providers like ACS. What we have learned is that there are children and people in our community that have experienced unimaginable trauma in their lives. And we need to focus on addressing the root causes of behavior, which in so many cases means treatment and connecting children and families to the appropriate mental health support. There is great promise with service providers like ACS, who work tirelessly to understand each child, their individual needs and strengths, and to advocate for children and their families to get them the necessary services. The work of the courts, and certainly the work that Adolescent Consultation Services does through the court clinic, is critical to our efforts. The assessments that ACS staff conduct provide valuable information in helping the courts, police, and providers understand both what is occurring in a young person's life when they are charged with an offense, and most importantly, how to help them. Also, the individual and group treatment that ACS makes available at no costs for youth comes at a time when it is increasingly difficult for families to access treatment through medical insurance and mental health clinics. This treatment resource has been utilized by the Cambridge Police Department's Clinical Support Unit and our youth resource officers to connect families to care. Lastly, the advocacy efforts of ACS in keeping youth and families safe while also working to prevent long-term involvement in the justice system is essential to moving forward. It is imperative that we continue to support programs like ACS so that every child, every family gets the support and treatment necessary so that all of our children can heal, grow, and thrive. Thank you. And I will take any questions that people may have for me.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Ela. We have a few questions for you. The first question we have is, based on your experience in the police department, what do you think is the most significant challenge facing youth in our community today?
You know, and I'm going to answer this not only as a police officer, but as a parent. Peer pressure, I think, is really a big deal. And just making sure that for me at home, just trying to counter that message and making sure that I'm prepared for what my children may hear. But I think peer pressure is absolutely a big deal. And, you know, what we've seen really, quite frankly, through the pandemic is just increased kind of trauma and mental health issues that we're struggling with. And we see it in our schools with young people and fighting. So I would absolutely add mental health to that.
Great, thank you. And we have a second question here. How does growing up in Cambridge impact your role as police commissioner in Cambridge?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is a community that I care so deeply about. For me, this community raised me, provided me with so many opportunities, and for me, the opportunity to give back is so important. I used to work at a youth center here in the city, and one of the things that really shaped my experience as a police officer was the young people telling me about their experiences with the police, and that those experiences weren't necessarily positive. So how do we, as a department, really change that narrative? And I want our young people, our children, to see the police as a resource here in the community.
Thank you. And we have another question here. You have been in this position for less than a year. Congratulations. Has anything surprised you since taking on this role, either good or bad?
I will say that that's a great question. Things don't move fast enough for me, right? We're in a mode of like change and shifting how we're doing business. And I just want things to move faster. I want to be able to help and support families as quick as we possibly can. And the system, it's slow and it can take some time.
Thank you. And I think I have another question coming in. I just want to, 1 second, take a look at this. Sorry. Can you describe the relationship between the Cambridge Police Department and the Cambridge School Commissioner?
Oh, the Superintendent Greer. We actually have a wonderful relationship. She came on, same with Derek Neal, who is the Public Health Director, right around the same time. So we actually were able to connect. We did a lot of panels together. We're doing a lot of work together just as far as how we approach and engage with our youth, some of the issues that they deal with in the high school. How can I support her? What other resources can we bring in? So we have a really good cooperative, collaborative relationship. We did do a panel with the school committee because there was some concern and talks about whether or not we should keep our youth resource officers in the school. And she was absolutely a fan of keeping us in the school. So we have a great working relationship that's only going to grow.
Great. And you touched on the pandemic a little bit, but how did the pandemic impact your work in the police department?
Well, it was just such a drastic shift when, for us, everybody shut down. And as everybody's shutting down and not going to work, we had to up our hours and working 12-hour shifts. But then, when we were so worried and not sure about what the pandemic was going to happen, we still had to serve our community. We were still really concerned about making sure that our young people, when the schools closed, that they had food to eat, that they had the proper supports, wanted to make sure that they had computers to go online. So a lot of our work was dedicated to outreach, going to make sure that we had food available at all of our schools or in the vicinity, that families could come and pick them up. So just really making sure that families had their basic needs met, even masks for our senior citizens. There were so many people that didn't have masks. We had to shift resources pretty drastically for our unhoused, who were also, exposed, and we built another shelter to temporarily house our unhoused. So we really went into, community care mode across the board for people that needed some extra support.
Thank you. I like that word, community care. And Commissioner, you have a tough job. If you had a magic wand, what is the most important thing parents can do when they sense their children where their child is struggling?
Sure. For me, again, as a parent and as a police commissioner, first is talk to your child. The second is reach out, whether it's to the police department. Our efforts are going to be, how do we connect you to services? So if it's in the city of Cambridge, please, you can reach out to me. I would connect you with Dr. Barrett, who's our in-house clinician who has 2 social workers. So I would say for parents out there, reach out to your police department and we can absolutely connect you to services.
Thank you. You're very popular. These questions keep coming in. What is the best advice you've ever been given?
Slow down. Slow down and try to make the best decision that you can. I think, initially, particularly in policing, our job, okay, let's go, let's move. All right, wait a minute. Let's slow down. Let's get all of the, people together that have a stake in this, and let's make the best decision, not the quickest decision.
Thank you so much. That's all the question that I have. And
Okay.
thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
Thank you. And I just want to, I'm sorry, let's go back to this. Thank you again, Commissioner, for your dedication to the City of Cambridge and being here with us tonight. We will now share a video created by ACF staff to highlight our work this past year.
Even before the pandemic, the mental health crisis among children and teens was worsening. According to a CDC study, more than 1 in 3 high school students experienced persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness in 2019, a 40% increase since 2009. In October 2021, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, American Academy of Pediatrics, and the Children's Hospital Association joined together to declare children's mental health a national state of emergency. The effects of the pandemic on mental health are still unfolding, but we know that children are going to need us now more than ever. Jackson is 15 years old. He was struggling with symptoms of anxiety and depression before the pandemic. He had a hard time expressing his feelings and advocating for his needs. Often, when struggling to express their feelings, children communicate through their behavior. Jackson communicated his frustration by shouting at his family and breaking household objects. When his school switched to online learning, his symptoms became more severe. He couldn't stay focused and began falling asleep during class. He started to refuse to turn his camera on and eventually stopped attending classes altogether. Jackson's school filed a child requiring assistance application with the juvenile court because of his excessive absences. His probation officer referred him to Thrive, ACS's group treatment program. Thrive is a group treatment program for teens to help them learn the skills they need to cope with and overcome the challenges they face. We do not require insurance, and our treatment services are provided at no cost to families. When Jackson joined Thrive, his struggles with being on camera and participating persisted. His ACS clinician didn't give up, suggesting that Jackson try individual therapy sessions instead. After weeks of using different techniques to connect with Jackson, he finally turned on his camera, and eventually he started talking. His clinician realized that often his silence was confusion, not indifference. He had a hard time understanding emotions and communicating, especially in group settings. Jackson's ACS clinician worked with his parents, teachers, and providers to explain her observations and share what techniques she found helpful to communicate with him. She was able to translate his behaviors and provided Jackson's support system with strategies to help manage his anxiety and depression. Jackson rejoined Thrive, and using the skills he learned from his clinician, he became an active member. He completed all 8 sessions of group treatment. With patience, perseverance, and understanding, Jackson's clinician was able to help him gain the skills he needed to participate in treatment and return to school. Jackson is not alone. With your support last year, ACS provided services to 315 children. ACS clinicians completed 187 comprehensive diagnostic evaluations. 94 children and their families received education and advocacy services. 88 children received individual and group treatment. 382 hours of treatment were provided by clinicians at no cost to families. ACS's dedicated clinicians, individualized and evidence-based programming, and strong partnerships position us to respond immediately and effectively to the changing needs of young people. Last year, 88% of family members became more engaged in their child's treatment. 81% of children served increased attendance in school. 78% of children served improved compliance with treatment. These accomplishments are not possible without you. Thank you from the entire ACS staff.
Hello, my name's Bill Payne. I've been on the board of directors of ACS for 20 years or so, and have been asked to spend a minute thanking you for your time and for joining us this afternoon, and also to give you a sense of why, at least I think, ACS is an organization that's worthy of your support. I'll start by reminding you of who our clients are. All of our clients are referred by the juvenile court for services that they are unlikely to get anywhere else. We're a partnership with the state of Massachusetts and with the juvenile court system, and it's a real partnership. We could not do what we do without the state, which provides a substantial amount of the financial support that's necessary for us to be the organization that we are. When you give money to us, you know that the money is being used efficiently to deliver services to kids, all of whom are needy, and to deliver services that they're not going to get anywhere else. To me, it's a great value proposition. You've had a chance to hear a little bit about the services we provide. You've had a chance to see the energy and warmth of the people who provide them. All I'm here to remind you is that what we do and the breadth of the impact that we have on the children that we serve could not be and is not being replicated anywhere else, because nowhere else are there people like you who are willing to support the comparable program. So today we're looking for financial support from all of you. We know that everybody's got different capacities to support us and lots of objectives for their money. Think we're worthy. Think you'll be happy that you did it. Our hope is that between the board and other private donors, we'll get a total of $50,000 from amongst the people here. As I said, the board is set us on the way, but there's room to go. So again, thank you. And if you would like to donate or would like to donate more, you can do that through our website, which is acskids.com. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Robin Eastwood at ACS. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bill. As Bill mentioned, the money we raised tonight helps provide critical mental health services to kids. So we are going to check out our fundraising thermometer to see how we're doing. The magicians behind the screen. Wow, that's amazing. We're at 69% toward our goal. I think we can do it. I absolutely think we can do it. Thank you so much for your generosity. It's just really, it's very touching. And you're helping us continue to serve the children and families involved in the court system in Middlesex County. And just know that anything you give has an impact on a small organization like us. We feel it. We feel every gift. And anything you do for us in spirit and deed, we feel. So we are deeply appreciative. There are additional ways that you can make an impact at ACS. A few of those ways are listed on your screen here. You can follow us on social media and sign up to receive our email updates to stay up to date on our work. Our group treatment program Thrive is held both in person and virtually. So in-person sessions require a variety of supplies, including workbooks, art materials that we use to engage teens. So by purchasing items on our Amazon wish list, you could help us collect the supplies we will continue to need. Speaking of Amazon, don't forget to choose ACS as your designated charity on Amazon Smile specifically. So that means that a portion of all of your Amazon purchases will be donated to ACS. You won't even see it. It just happens magically. One of the most important things you can do is to share the information you learned here tonight with someone you know. So help us spread awareness about the challenges facing kids who are court involved and the mental health needs of children in our communities. It is going to take all of us working together to support our children through the challenges and aftermath of the pandemic. And we know that we truly couldn't do this work without you. So thank you again to Commissioner Elo for being with us and for sharing her compelling remarks, and to Elizabeth Sheehy for allowing us to reluctantly honor her years and her staff of service, dedicated service to the juvenile court. Please feel free to reach out to any of us at ACS, myself, or any of our staff if you would like more information, have any questions. Our contact information is available on our website. It is acskids.org. Bill said acskids.com, just minor error, it is .org. And I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Please stay safe. We're letting you out really early, so you're welcome. Thank you so much and have a wonderful night.